Well, my friends, we have just been having a blast all week, and we have some incredible things for you to finish out strong. Don't miss it. Well, everybody, I am here with Pastor Ryan Papineau, and he is a pastor at Living Hope. I hope that you have been enjoying all the fun that we've been having this week. I mean, talk about some great stuff to get you ready for your day. And today is no exception. We've got truth from God's Word. Ryan, why don't you just lead us into this? Because I know you've got some great stuff for us today. Let's see what we got.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, Pastor Brad. And we're going to be in Numbers chapter 13. So to set the story, to set the stage, Moses has led the children of Israel out of Egypt. They have trekked a little ways across the desert and have made it to the promised land. Mm-hmm. And they're ready to go in. They're ready to take it.
On the edge.
God has told them, go. The people have this idea that maybe it'd be a good idea to kind of scout it out first. Mm-hmm. God's like, that probably isn't a good idea. And we're going to see that God's right.
Yeah.
So 10 spies are sent into the land, they scout it out, and they come back, and we're going to pick up the story with their report. So beginning in Numbers chapter 13, verse 27, the spies have returned, and they gave Moses this account. We went into the land which you sent us, and it does flow with milk and honey. Here is its fruit. But the people who live there are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. We even saw descendants of Anak there. And that's as far as we're going to read, because it's...
Oh, I thought you were going to go into Anak. That was great.
Well, yeah, I'll leave that for Pastor Bradley to explain to you who the Nephilim were.
That's right. So fun.
Basically, the land is really good. Mm-hmm. It's everything we thought it was going to be. But the people are big and scary. Mm-hmm. And none of this is a surprise. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, this should not have been a surprise to anybody. They knew who was living in the land. They knew that the land was the promised land that God had given them. And what is the end result? Well, the end result is Caleb and Joshua stand up and try and convince the people, no, wait, guys, that's fine that the people are big because we're not the ones fighting them.
Right.
God is the one who will fight this battle for us, right? Yeah. He just freed us and delivered us from the Egyptian army, split a sea in half, sent 10 plagues down on this nation, right? Like, we're good.
Yeah, we've got this.
And in the end, the people listened to the others, the 10 others, and they followed their advice and not the advice of Caleb and Joshua. And
wow.
And they have to wander in the desert for 40 years. Moses, through that time, ends up not even being able to make it into the promised land because of his behavior in the wilderness. And I just want to focus on this pivotal moment, that word but.
Yeah.
The land is great. It's everything we expected, but. Mm-hmm. But the people are large. And let's do an exercise here for a moment. So one of the things that's fun, in Hebrew, names are significant.
Very.
Because your name meant something. And it even identified a part of who you were, like down to the core of your identity and who you were supposed to be as a person. And if these men had stood up before the nation and Moses had simply taken roll, if he had just called out the names, it could have sounded something like this.
Oh,
just imagine you're in this moment, and you're one of the children of Israel. They haven't told you anything about the land yet. They're just standing up there, and Moses is making sure everybody made it back, right? Uh-huh. Here's what their names would have sounded like. The land is indeed good, and the people are in fact powerful, but their sin has now reached to heaven. This is the report of God. And he has judged the people of this land. If we will be faithful to God as a dog is faithful to its master, he will redeem this land for us. He will save us from our enemies.
Wow.
By his help, we will escape the sword. He will be our fortune, for our fortune lies in him. And he is our kinsman. He will fight with us. Protected by God, we will avoid defeat. Praise be to our majestic God.
This just blows my mind. The meaning of the names.
Yeah.
In roster, in sequence.
Yeah.
And here it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Hidden in plain sight.
Yeah, right there. Caleb means faithfulness, like a dog is faithful to their master, right? Joshua means God will save. He saves. So these names, the men, you wonder why it told us who was chosen to go. I think that we're supposed to see here, this is who God chose to send into the land. He selected a message.
Yeah.
A message.
Clearly.
I've got your back. Don't worry.
Wow.
I will take care of it. If they had just stood up and given their names, given a roster report, I think the people would have gone.
Yeah.
Who, after hearing that?
I'm fired up. I'm jazzed.
Yeah.
Let's go take it.
Let's go. Right? With that God on our side.
You can't lose.
No.
That's right.
Especially, these are the people that just watched God destroy Egypt. So with this message, yes. But instead, but the people are big. They even have giants there.
Wow. Yeah.
And God is sitting there saying, literally, Joshua's name means God saves. God saves. He'll do it. He'll take care of it.
My goodness. How many times do you think we get stuck in our lives looking at the things that we're afraid of rather than what God's put right in front of us?
I choose to more focus on the fact that I got my stuff together, and it's the Israelites, the ancient Israelites. They were the ones.
Right.
Always faithful to God. I never look at my circumstances. I never struggle with this. This is a them problem.
Right.
Definitely not a me problem.
Oh man, that's good. That's good. Well, I'm feeling shamed, but I mean, I'm glad you've got it.
How often do we find ourselves in these things? And we're not.
True.
Wow, I'm not facing giants like actual giants.
Right.
I just have some bills I'm not sure where
those are going to be taken care of, right?
And so when I feel God pressing on me to give in the offering or to give to a missionary, I look at him and I say, but don't you know I got to pay my bills?
That's right. Yeah.
Like, hello?
Come on.
Don't you know I've got to feed my family?
Right.
I can't give this money. I've said before, if God says you can't serve two masters,
yeah, that's
right?
true.
Like God and money. And if that's true, and if God is your master, then when God tells you to do something, why do you ask your pocketbook for permission?
Wow.
Like if we really believe this, right? So we're just as bad as these guys.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know me, that was a little tongue in cheek saying there. We're just as bad. We're just as unfaithful.
Right.
The saddest thing, I think the tragedy of this, the Jews refer to this text as the way of sorrows. And they call this generation the lost generation. And that just does something to me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a part of a lost generation.
Right.
I don't want to be part of a moment in history that they look back on and call it a tragedy. The way of sorrows. The moment when God's people forgot who they were. Because they forgot who he is.
Yeah.
And so this is challenging to me that no matter what situation I'm facing, God is still God. He's the same God that delivered them from Egypt. He's the same God that rose Jesus from the dead. And the Bible says that power is still at work in our lives today. I don't need to know where that next meal is coming from. If I really know that God's asking me to give to support a missionary, or give an offering, or to give money to somebody who needs it.
Yeah.
Like, how do I not expect that if I'm part of God's provision for them, that God can't use somebody else to be provision
for you,
for me? Like,
yeah.
It's sad, it's tragic, but it does. I mean, it's a struggle for all of us. And it may not be money for you, it may be something else, but whatever it is, like, I think this is a real possibility in all of our lives, that we come to these moments and say, but.
Yeah,
this is everything you promised us, God. But I don't see how it's going to happen.
And yet it's right in front of us.
Yeah.
For them, it was in the names, and for us, it's right here in his word.
Yeah.
Again and again.
It's in his name.
Yeah, exactly.
I am
exactly
who I am.
Right.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Come on.
So he's that same God still is. He is who he is.
That's right.
Who he always has been.
Right.
So yeah, and you're right. All through his word, this entire thing is one giant story of him saying, "Here I am. You can trust me."
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's Satan's biggest lie. I actually don't think he's got a lot of different lies.
Right.
I think he's got one line. He's really good at contextualizing it to our specific areas of weakness. I think his one lie, which he got Adam and Eve, God cannot be trusted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why do you struggle with sexual sin? It's because you don't trust God's plan for human sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you struggle with financial issues? Because you don't trust in God's provision. Why do you whatever area of your life you're struggling in, it's ultimately comes down to you just don't trust that God is right, that God is faithful, that God is who he says he is.
Wow. Well, my friends, today you can trust. It's right in front of you. And I love how you said that. It's in his name. Oh, come on. That sent a shiver down my spine. It's in his name. You better believe it. The name above every name, the name in which every knee shall bow and tongue confess. My friends, you can trust God today. He has what you need. Don't let I know this is going to come back to me, but don't let the buts in your life really take away from the trust you can have in God to see something remarkable.
Yeah.
My friends, this has been so much fun this week. I hope that you've been blessed. Listen, if you didn't get to see some of the previous episodes, you need to go watch them. They're going to bless you just like this one has. Share this with some folks that need it and give us that like or subscribe. Man, it just changes everything, and we really appreciate you doing that. Listen, guys, thanks for having breakfast with us. Trust God today. He's got what you need. He's more than enough. God bless.